We now go to Matt Foldi. By the way, we made a mistake. Matt is with the Washington Reporter. And we also want to apologize because in the publication it said Washington Examiner. But Matt is with an even better publication, which is the Washington Reporter.
I've written in the Washington Examiner too, though. So.
Even better. And also is one of the media partners here. So we're so lucky to have you. So thank you, Matt, so much. Talk about, from the media standpoint, how can we increase the cooperation and also get the message out about just what's going on in Poland and why Americans need to be galvanized up until June and hopefully victory over there in Poland.
Well, it's great to be here as the less impressive, less fashionable Matthew on stage. Still happy to be with you guys. And
definitely the best dressed guy in the place, don't you think, you guys? For sure.
Well, I work for you guys, but I appreciate it. And yes, obviously happy to be a media partner with you guys. We launched my new outlet about 7 months ago, and in part because of just the deranged left-wing bias you see covering, especially the Hill, the White House. I mean, Republicans now control the entire government of the United States, and the press corps that we have is completely non-reflective of that. And what you guys do with TV Republika is very similar in Poland. Now, we have had fewer problems with the government of America than you guys have had with the one in Poland. And I'll talk a little bit about how I think we got here. And that is August 2021, when Biden fulfilled his campaign pledge to have a photo op of America peacefully withdrawing from Afghanistan, peaceful transition of power. We saw how this ended, of course, with Afghan allies of the United States falling out of airplanes. And I was lucky to spend much of the inauguration weekend with a series of the Gold Star families whose 13 kids were killed during our withdrawal on August 26th, 2021. And they and everyone else, you know, you don't need to be a foreign policy genius like these people to know that the world had chaos unleashed upon it following that in a way we haven't seen in quite some time. And I think that ties directly into Poland, because there is a direct line just months later from America saying, you're an ally of us, we don't care, we just want this photo op that didn't happen. Biden said this wouldn't be like Saigon, it was worse than Saigon. You know, Biden used to remember Saigon. I don't think he remembers what he had for breakfast today. And Putin seeing that, right? America created a massive vacuum, and as other speakers have said today, is it a coincidence? I don't know, that Putin likes invading other countries when Democrats are in charge. And there was zero Russian aggression in a serious way when Trump was president the first time. And what I think you're seeing now is a global reset. I was thinking, as you look around the world, there's almost no region where America is not trying to shift our policy. I would say maybe the North Pole, but we may be buying Greenland, we may be taking Canada. And as you look at South America, you have us actually wanting to secure our border. As you look at the Middle East, and this gets to my next point, Trump secured the release of multiple Americans who have been held hostage by the Taliban for years at this point. And it's a great thing. And Trump had not even been president after the election in November to when Israel and the savage animals of Hamas sort of started coming to some agreement. And I think from the Polish standpoint, you can look at Trump right now is in a very forgiving mentality. And I think that is an opportunity and also might pose some challenges for law and justice. You look at his inauguration. Who was there? Mark Zuckerberg, who literally banned him from Facebook, which is what Trump voters use, right? Boomers love Facebook. And he was sitting in the inauguration. You look at the CEO of TikTok, which Trump tried to literally ban before wanting to force divestment and now trying to say, but the CEO of TikTok was there. And you look at how he's now dealing with these terrorists and the Taliban and in Hamas, and you see a return to a present America, right? I think we've all seen videos of Biden falling asleep in Africa and Latin America. You see a return of diplomacy, but also through a prism of American strength. And I think an important flashpoint in the first Trump term was when he was negotiating with the Taliban for the agreement that, of course, the Taliban violated basically 99% of conditions, and we still followed through with it anyway. And he said to one of their terrorist leaders, he slid a piece of paper across the table and he said, "That's a nice house you have there. If any American soldier is harmed, I think you understand what's going to happen to your house." Yeah, I know your address. And, he wasn't inviting himself over for dinner, right? And you saw he vaporized Qasem Soleimani, and the rest of the world understood, okay, maybe America means business. And so now I think that's an interesting sort of groundwork setting for Poland. I wrote an article a couple months ago about how Donald Tusk, I think all of you know this, for years said Trump was a Russian agent, right? Which he isn't. And he was asked about this recently. I think it was right after Trump won, or as right as it looked like Trump was going to win. He said, I never said that. And so I think there's a serious...
Sorry,
Please.
Sorry. Hello? Yeah, hello?
Yeah.
Sorry, and you know what the funny thing is? They called me snitch because I told in the media that Americans knows what he said. He knows, they know your tweets. They called me a snitch, the one who is, who's giving the information to Americans about what Prime Minister said or tweeted. Can you believe that? So you have to be careful sitting next to me.
Well, listen, I think maybe Donald Tusk is saying he knows our addresses, which is not a good thing. But I think that you see that there's a possibility for countries to ingratiate themselves with Trump in ways that are good for America and in ways that might not be. And you have a American president who's much more favorably disposed towards the Polish people than the previous administration, and you simultaneously have leadership in Poland that is less kind of willing to work with the incoming administration. But that's, I think, how we got here. We had American weakness exhibited for the entire world to see. We didn't tell any of our NATO allies about our plans to trust the ill-prepared Afghan army with a preset timetable for withdrawal, which, why would you ever do that anyway? And then global chaos ensued. Now you look at any continent, any sphere of influence in the world, and the Trump administration, I think, is poised to basically do the opposite of what the Biden administration did, which is great because it's unfortunate, but one of my friends in the Marine Corps told me that under Biden for the past 4 years, we had the inversion of the Marine Corps motto that America was no greater foe and no worse ally. And I think we're all hopeful that that will change, starting with Rubio as Secretary of State, Pete Hegseth restoring morale in a very morale-depleted military of the United States, and more. So happy to be here, and that's a lot of optimism. But fortunately, we have a lunch coming up after that, so you guys have something to look forward to.
Thank you,
Matt.
Thank you.